Hi, my name is April, and I'm the peaceful wife. Today I want to talk about apologizing for our disrespect and control, and then I want to talk about the phase that usually comes right after that, which is the frustrating quiet phase. So first, when you realize that you have not been a godly wife, that you've been controlling, you've been disrespectful, I would suggest in most cases, but not all, to apologize either verbally or in a written letter or email to your husband, but I would keep it pretty brief. I realize now that I have hurt you so deeply. I see that I've been disrespectful and that I've been controlling. I don't want to be like that anymore. I am so sorry. I didn't realize what I was doing, and I want to change. And I know that's going to take time. I know I have so much to learn, and I hope you can be patient with me while I'm learning, and I hope you can forgive me, but I want to become the wife that God wants me to be and the wife that you need me to be. And then that's probably good enough. Now, if he if he says, I don't think you've been disrespectful, you haven't been disrespectful, you may want to give him some examples, but otherwise you probably won't need to give specific examples unless he asks for them or something. For most men, a brief apology is painful enough. They don't want a 3,000-word apology or anything. Then, more important than the apology is that you're going to show that you are changing. Now, there are some husbands who, if you've apologized a lot before and you haven't changed, an apology now will mean nothing. Or if they are so far shut down that they don't listen to you at all, then words may not mean anything at this point. So in that case, you may not need to do a verbal apology. You may just need to start asking God to change you and to help you. I have some posts at the top of my blog, peacefulwife.com, about what is disrespectful to husbands and ways you can show respect to your husband. They're long lists, and they can just give you some ideas. I'm not saying you have to do everything, but it'll give you a place to start, give you some ideas. This is what I needed when I started this journey. I didn't have any information about what is disrespectful, what is respectful, and I was so confused, and I just felt like I was walking through a landmine with a blindfold on all the time. I had no idea what I was doing. So maybe those lists will be helpful. But at first, most wives go through a phase that I call the frustrating quiet phase. That is where we know that we've been disrespectful and controlling in the past, but we don't know how to be respectful and how to trust yet, and we are trying to learn wisdom. And so there may be a time, if you have been extremely disrespectful and controlling, where you get kind of quiet because you want to evaluate things before you say them. And you want to be sure that before you let something leave your mouth that it's going to be respectful. So at first, a lot of wives get really quiet because they're not sure what is disrespectful and what is respectful. And at first, it can feel like you are walking on eggshells, and it seems like almost every little thing is disrespectful to a lot of husbands. It really isn't as awful as it seems. Once you learn the boundary lines of, there are lines, there are areas that are disrespectful, and once you learn where those are, you can avoid them, and there's plenty of space to walk where you're not stepping on the eggshells. But at first it can be really confusing because because some little words can be an issue. Asking why can imply that you don't trust your husband, or you think his reasoning is not very smart. Why would you do that? Why would you do this? That can come across very disrespectfully. Saying, I will have my husband do something, makes it sound like you are his boss, you're his authority. Anything that makes it sound like you are dictating to him or giving him a directive telling him what to do. You need to do this. You should do that is probably going to, just that wording is going to feel disrespectful to a lot of husbands. So it would be as simple as just changing wording. Instead of, why would you do that? You could say, I was just wondering, would you be able to explain about this? I'm feeling a little confused or something. Or instead of saying, you need to do this, you can say, it would mean so much to me if you had time to do this, if you had a chance. And say it with a smile, ideally in a pleasant tone of voice would be great. And instead of saying, you need to do this, you should do that, you better do this, you would just say, I would love it if you could do this, I would like it if you could do this, would you mind please doing this? That will probably, just a couple of words and the tone of voice makes all the difference. And it probably usually is not the thing that we're asking about, it's usually our approach that's the issue. So in the frustrating quiet phase, you are going to try to hold back the criticism, lectures, blaming him, being negative, complaining, arguing, preaching, nagging, pride, control, self-righteousness, gossip, all that stuff. And if you're like me, you will realize that almost everything you say is one of those things, and you won't have as much to say at first. But as God continues to change your heart, and as you learn the boundaries of where is disrespect and where is respect, then you can start adding respectful things. And yes, it feels awkward and foreign at first because it's a brand new relationship skill that you've never used before. You may have never even seen anybody use it before. And so, yeah, it feels like learning a foreign language. And I am not talking about pretending to respect your husband, pretending to honor him, but really not respecting him in your heart. God wants a total heart change. He doesn't just want us to act respectful. He wants us to actually respect our husbands. And we do that because we love him and out of reverence for him. So I'm not talking about playing games. I'm not talking about manipulation. That's sin. I'm talking about completely changing the way that we approach God and our husbands, and it will affect how we treat other people too, treating them with real love of God and with real genuine respect. So there is a time of quiet where we don't quite know what to say. We want to stop the negative things, but we don't quite know what the positive things are. And then over time we begin to add some of the positive things, the praise every once in a while for something our husband does right, the appreciation and thanks for things he does that we appreciate, telling him we're proud of him for things that we are proud of him for, telling him positive emotions as well, like, I'm so glad you're here with me, I'm so happy to be your wife, I'm glad that you're my husband, I'm just feeling so thankful today, I'm feeling so happy today, feeling joyful today. And then you will be able to also share negative feelings, but I would recommend sharing them the way Laura Doyle describes, which is just saying, I'm feeling sad, I'm feeling lonely, I'm feeling nervous, I'm feeling upset. And that way you're not saying, you never spend any time with me, and I am feeling very lonely because you're a total failure as a man, and if you were a real husband, if you were a real man, you'd spend time with me. That approach is not going to work. You're blaming him, making him the bad guy. He can't be the hero. He wants to be the hero. It's just saying, I'm lonely. Would you be able to please spend a few minutes with me when you get a chance? Thanks. We'll get your point across much more effectively, and you're much more likely to get what you want when you don't make him the bad guy and when you just simply state your emotions, your feelings, and what you want. So if you have any questions, please let me know. The frustrating quiet phase can go on for weeks or months, and it is very frustrating when you don't know what to do yet, and this does take time. But I think you'll find that those posts at the top of my blog at peacefulwife.com will be really helpful. And if you have other questions, please let me know. I hope that you have a great time enjoying your husband and becoming the woman God desires you to be.